Hello everybody. A lot of you have been clawing at my doorstep, asking me to make another fashion video like a crack addict. Well, you're in luck, because today is video number 3 of my fashion series. Today we are going to be going over accessory basics. Accessories are a very subtle but really important thing. We're mainly just going to talk about basic rules in this video. Honestly, there's so much about accessories that it's its own whole category. And also, I don't want to overload anybody's brain too much. Also, mandatory disclaimer, but I am a man, so when I talk about accessories, I'm probably going to be thinking more about it in terms of men. But I will say, because we're just talking about basic rules, pretty much everything I say in this video is going to apply to everyone. So if you're not a straight Asian male, don't sweat it too much. And as an unrelated note, I'm probably going to make another video sometime in the future at some point about my thought process when it comes to how I choose what I wear. But if I'm being honest, I'm probably going to make some other shit before I get to that. So if you want to see those, then consensually touch the like and subscribe button. And maybe you'll get... I should not say that. Enjoy the video. Now, when it comes to fashion, I always see people talking about, like, where they can get the best jackets or what the best, like, pants are, or where they can get cool shirts. But I barely ever see anybody talk about accessories. And if I'm being honest, accessories are low-key slept on. They're the thing that can take your fit from default Roblox avatar to, hold up, his garments are fire. And for men especially, a lot of us seem to shy away from accessories because it sounds gay or because we're not women. Accessories? Ugh. What are we putting sequins on our eyes? Are we gonna go get our nails buffed or something? I've said this in my past videos, but the default male mind is so painfully simple when it comes to fashion because they're afraid of looking stupid or gay. And as a result, the only accessories that exist for us are watches and chains. But to placate your mind anyways, instead of calling them accessories, you can think of them as attachments. So instead of feeling like we're gonna go to the nail salon to get ourselves freakishly impractical acrylic open carry switchblades, you can pretend that you're a carbine system customizing yourself at your local sports shop. So unscrew your threaded barrels and buff those buffer tubes, because we're going to go over a lot of different attachment rules today. Rule number 1. This first rule is something that a lot of people don't consider when they think about accessories, but I think it's important. Features on shirts and pants can count as accessories. Now, I know that in the Bible, when God created accessories in his image, cargo pants, pockets, and zippers on jackets were not included. But we're in the year 2025, and if I'm being honest, the Bible might require some amendments. When I say accessories, I still mainly mean things that go on your head or your arms or something, like crossbody bags, belts, bracelets, other stuff. But features on your main articles still count. You'll see why later when we talk about the other rules. For example, graphics on tees, adding a splash of color, still count. Pockets on cargos or jeans, still count. And if you're Chinese, I suppose that also means customizing your height. In my opinion, even like hair count as accessories. If you don't believe me, just ask someone who dyes their hair why they dye their hair. Yeah, keep that in mind when you're choosing what things to put on. Okay, that was rule 1, pretty simple, but don't worry, the rules will get more complex. Rule number 2, shape. Now, every previous rule I've talked about applies to accessories as well, because it's its own category. But with accessories, it's just a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same thing. Specifically, shape and color. We're gonna talk a little bit about good character design to explain this. So, part of what makes good design is how there's often a balance between large shapes in combination with smaller shapes and sometimes repeating smaller shapes. These smaller shapes serve to either A, break up already existing larger shapes to create smaller shapes, or to add small shapes simply by being there, or both. For example, here is Slit from Fury Road, the greatest action movie of all time. We can see that he's got large shapes, such as his torso and his big pants, but both of these large shapes are broken up by various smaller elements, such as a bandana, a blood bag harness, gloves, chains, pockets. So that's the first thing about shape. The second thing about shape I want to touch on is the ratio. You can play with the ratio of large shapes to small shapes, and even the ratio of the sizes of the shapes themselves to achieve different effects. Bay vs. Bumblebee has a lot of broken up small shapes, but there's still harmony because there's still a variety of shape across his form, even though there aren't any super large shapes. Someone on the opposite side of the spectrum, such as the divine General Maharaja, has a lot of big, wide shapes in combination with some medium-sized shapes. He doesn't have a lot of small shapes, but his design is still fucking awesome. And as a cool side tangent slash fun fact, this shape rule is a basic fundamental of good design in general, which means it applies to pretty much everything, including the A1 Abrams. Treat me like now, how does this rule apply to us when we talk about accessories? We don't exactly go around aura farming all the time, right? So how much does this rule still apply? Surprisingly, a fair amount. Balancing large shapes to using smaller shapes is literally what accessories are there to do, at least visually. Now, assuming you watched my previous videos, which you should go do because I swear they're funny, and I promise you'll learn something despite the brain damage. We have already talked about our large shapes. Everyday accessories serve to do the exact same thing. For example, the purpose of wristwear is to break up a larger shape, your arm. And the purpose of a crossbody bag is to add a big diagonal across another large shape, your torso. Every accessory from glasses to belts to pins to tattoos to grills all work this way. And this is why I said earlier that things like pockets and graphics on t-shirts count as accessories. These are things that break up the shape of a shirt or a pair of pants already without you having to put on a crossbody or a fancy belt or anything like that. Rule 2, balance out your shapes in a way that works for you. Now that we've talked about shapes, we can talk specifically about how to make it work. So based on what kind of style you want to give off, you need to balance the amount of accessories to achieve a ratio that you'd like. So if you can imagine like $1.50 in USD, there's a lot of ways to represent this. You could have $1.02. You could have $1.05, or you could have 6 quarters, or maybe 150 pennies. All of them reach the same value, but they just do it via a different balance. Too many accessories will make your outfit look a bit loud and busy. Now, this isn't a bad thing, okay? Maybe that's what you're going for, but that's the effect that you're going to achieve. Now, on the other side, if you have less or no accessories, it might make you look bland or minimalist. Again, it depends how good you are at pulling it off. For me personally, accessories are something that are for fine-tuning a fit, not necessarily for taking it over. So my fits usually look like a dollar bill with 2 quarters. So I enjoy having large empty shapes while supplementing with at most maybe 1 or 2 mid-size accessories and maybe a couple smaller ones at most. All right, rule 3, color. Now, this rule only applies if you're trying to make the color of your accessories harmonize with the color of your fits. Most good outfits have 2 colors maximum other than black, white, or gray, in my opinion. But then again, it's my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. Oftentimes, one of these colors is more dominant over the other. If you want to look at the fit that I'm wearing right now as an example, I would say blue is the primary color and then white is the secondary color. It's really subtle. There's stripes here. For accessories, there are 2 ways that colors can get integrated. Again, if you're trying to make them match. Number 1, they follow the main color motif. In this fit here, I'm wearing a crossbody that's roughly the same color as my pants, even though my shirt is black. Or in this fit, black is the primary color of my fit, and I'm wearing a black hat and a black crossbody. So that's the first way. The second way, the accessory follows a secondary color motif that is smaller than the primary color. So in this fit that I'm wearing right now, I'm wearing a white watch, and white is the secondary color here. But sometimes the accessory is the sole item in the fit that is a separate color from the rest of the fit. Like how this blue graphic is the only blue part in the whole fit, or how people will wear a colored tie with suits, or again, in my current fit, this brown belt is the only thing that's brown throughout the whole thing. But if it's the case where it's that third one where it's a separate color, it's usually because A, the main colors are shades like black, white, or gray, or B, there are only 2 non-shade colors. So don't, for example, have like a red shirt and then like a blue hat and then green shoes. You're gonna look like a broken traffic light. Similarly, I am less likely to wear a brown watch with a black belt if the rest of my outfit is not brown or black. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But then again, I will wear white shoes sometimes when I'm wearing a black and tan fit. So honestly, I have no fucking clue. Some of this is confusing. But again, it isn't always completely true, so don't think you'll have to like min-max every little like bracelet that you put on. And a lot of accessories don't necessarily follow color harmony anyways, such as jewelry. But it's still something to think about. Rule 4. Okay, now this is probably the most important rule after shape language. Accessories enhance a vibe that you are good at portraying and make a vibe that you suck at portraying fall even more flat. Only people who eat crayons would put a hunting scope on a Benelli, so don't do it. There's a tweet about a cowboy hat. Here's the tweet. The tweet is true. This depends on confidence, what style you're wearing, and how you look in general. For a mild example, this is why I don't wear cowboy hats, because I'm not a corn-fed Texas Viking. And I don't dress like a ranch hand anyways, although I wish I could. I should probably actually try it. It looks sick. Maybe I could do Lee Byung-hun from The Magnificent Seven though. Anyways, an example of someone wearing an accessory they don't know how to wear is, honestly, whenever I see little kids wearing chains, anytime Elon Musk wears a hat, and most things that Harry Styles wears. Sorry if you're a Harry Styles fan. I'm sorry. He wears pearl necklaces as if he just robbed them off of Batman's mom and just put them on immediately. Now, I think a lot of this rule is dependent on where you fall on the twink tank locked in horny spectrum from my other video. There are certain accessories that work better or read different if you're a twink or a tank. Oh god, dude. If you're a smaller guy or a bigger guy, I really should, you know, maybe I should stop using that. People on the smaller side are better at glasses. People on the tank side are better at chains. But it doesn't mean that you can't wear stuff from the other end of the spectrum. Sometimes the contrast can be the thing that makes it good, such as Alan Rickman, I don't know his name, from Ungentlemanly Warfare. Regarding accessories that I like using, I'm good at wearing more academic type shit, so I like modest watches and glasses. You guys have never seen me wear glasses. I have glasses. However, I'm also a fan of practical outdoor wear. So I like drop leg pouches, cargos with pockets on them, bags with pals webbing. God, I fucking love pals webbing. So yeah, choose attachments that work with your build and the vibe that you want to portray. Yeah, there we go. Real simple video. Mainly because the next accessory video that I'm gonna make, whenever I do make it, is gonna be a lot more complicated. Like Tarkov inventory system levels of complicated. So yes, stay tuned if you want to see that in a vague amount of time in the future. I also make other videos too, by the way. I promise they're not all hot ass. Subscribe or I will send a plague across the land to claim the firstborn of every family. Okay, bye. Hey guys, this is just really a message just for mainly returning viewers. I know I tend to take very multi-month long hiatuses, but I just wanted to say that I'm really grateful that you guys support me even despite that. I'm gonna try and upload more often because I do want this channel to be a bigger pillar in my life. And honestly, it's really awesome every time I get support on these videos and I get your guys input and what you guys think on it. That it means a lot to me. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Fair warning. The next videos I make are probably not going to be fashion related. Mainly just because I'm interested in other shit and I want to talk about other stuff. But also because I'm not actually a fashion expert, believe it or not. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys on the next video if you guys fuck with that kind of shit. And anyways, alright, subscribe. Goodbye. I love you guys.